Well, thank you all for joining Pathways to Healing for this interview with Alexian Wines. I am Kimberly South, the Development Director here at Pathways, and again, joined by our friend Alexian Wines, who you guys may remember was our keynote speaker at the Walk a Mile 2026, where we saw more than 200 attendees and raised more than $50,000 for survivors of sexual assault right here in the Midlands. Allie, thank you for joining us. We are just excited that you're going to be part of our next journey and just really helping our survivors. As you know, our services that we provide are provided at no cost to the people that we serve. We do prevention education, hospital accompaniments. We have a 24/7 hotline, crisis hotline. We do crisis counseling and intervention, and also assist with legal and advocacy services, and have a lot of support throughout our Midlands counties. You are here to help us today spread messages of healing and empowerment through our community. So thank you for joining us.
Well, Kimberly, first, thank you and the entire Pathways to Healing team. First, for allowing me to be part of such an important event as Walk a Mile. I have to say that I was already in awe of the work that Pathways does, but after taking part in the Walk a Mile event and talking with so many survivors that were there, I just was reminded of how intense the work is that you all do every day, and sadly, how much work still needs to be done in order to educate and eradicate. We all have a role to play in that, and we all need to make sure that we are working towards supporting victims in the process of educating and eradicating.
Yeah, thank you. And so we're here today to talk about that next step. You have created and co-authored an amazing book called Letters to Lilly, excuse me. And just, tell us a little bit more about what Letters to Lilly is and what it means.
Yes. So Letters to Lilly. Lilly stands for Lessons in Leadership and Loving Yourself. That is literally my heart project. It started out, well, I guess I could say that, based on my childhood experience, I learned firsthand domestic violence, gun violence, things that, you hope that children don't necessarily have to witness. And through that lens, I never ever imagined the life that I would one day live. And that includes my professional career, opportunities to travel, the amazing people that I would meet along the way, the education that I would get through all of those areas of my life. I never realized that this could be my life. And so I would say that if I can have this journey, anyone and everyone should have the life that they dream of, regardless of their lessons or experience. And so back a while ago, this led me to begin speaking to students and organizations about overcoming adversity in order to live the life that you dream of. But in 2023, I actually started having strokes, and one of them impacted my speech greatly. And what happened then was that I was worried that one of the things that I most loved, which was speaking, especially to students, that I may not be able to do anymore given my inability to get my words out properly. So I wanted to find another way to share my life lessons in hopes of reminding other people anywhere, everywhere, that regardless of your circumstance, you too can get through it. You can have the life that you dream of. And so Letters to Lilly started just as a LinkedIn project where I was writing to my younger self and sharing lessons that I had learned in leadership or loving myself, and hoping that that would help others avoid some of the pitfalls that I had experienced. What I didn't expect from that was that so many people would engage with it. And the first being Melissa Cohen, who I had been already discussing the ideas of Letters to Lilly with, and who not only immediately encouraged, but also supported this idea. And so, with that support and the additional external engagement, I sought Melissa's counsel on whether we should continue thinking about expanding even your letters to Lilly, which became a separate post on LinkedIn. And then people started to engage with that and share their own stories. So I asked Melissa, would you consider co-authoring this book with me? And thankfully she said yes. And we put a call out to LinkedIn for people to write and share their own leadership and loving yourself stories. And they did it. And we had so many people write in that we created this book cover to cover in 2.5 months. So our publisher actually said it was the fastest he had ever seen a book come together.
Wow. Yeah, that reaction and is amazing. And that means people are resonating and connecting with the words that are in this book. So you talk about the reactions. I hear that y'all have gone even international at this point.
That's right. Well, I mean, the book is actually, first of all, filled with letters from around the world, right? So it's not just letters that came in from the US, but this has letters from almost every continent, men, women, different parts of people's career journey. And at the end of the day, it resonates so deeply because I think just like one of the biggest lessons in my life is the power that's unleashed when you realize you're not alone, that other people all over the world are going through or have gone through some version of what you're going through, or what I'm going through, and have made it to the other side. So to me, this book serves as a great reminder that it does not matter where you are, what you're going through, you can get through it. And the reaction to the book has been exactly what Melissa and I hoped it would be. People realizing they're not alone and connecting to others in the book. So Melissa, she said that this was going to be a movement. I wasn't sure if she had lost her mind or if she was right. And luckily she was right, that this book really is having an impact. And not only did we find out that we've won an International Impact Book Award, but sometimes it's just those individual moments that mean so much. And I can tell you, I had someone reach out to me on LinkedIn who I didn't know, and the message was very short, very like a DM, and it said, "This book is changing lives." And that's pretty much like all it said, but the impact for me was so strong. And all of this goes to people literally around the world who said, I'm willing to share my story, and I know that it's going to help someone else. And I believe that it has.
It absolutely has. And so speaking to that, what would you say, based on your personal experience, your past, the stories that you've read, what would you say to someone who's going through trauma or working to overcome some challenges?
Easy. You are not alone. And you will get through whatever it is that you are going through, and you don't have to do it alone. So, depending on the situation, you may need professional assistance, and that could be like the services Pathways to Healing provides, or there could be other challenges that you may simply need the shoulder of a friend, or maybe you need a licensed therapist, or maybe you need someone who sits within the pages of Letters to Lilly. Maybe you need to find a story that resonates with you and sort of think about how they made it through, or even reach out to them. But the bottom line is that you can, and you will get through whatever it is you're going through, but you have to believe and know that you can.
And those that are going through it, I mean, we serve more than 2,000 survivors, and that's just in the Midlands. And that's not even everybody who reports an abuse or a trauma. What would you say about the fear that people may have to share or to even reach out to services like what Pathways does?
Well, fear of reaching out, and I think fear of reporting, Fear is real. And I would say that you can seek help without having to report. So separate the fear of reaching out to the fear of reporting. Those are two separate things. Um, and the most important thing is getting help for yourself. So your physical health and your mental health. Now, I do believe that reporting is important, but nothing is more important than your own well-being. So whatever that looks like to you, whether it's fear of just reaching out and reporting or fear of reaching out, but in the year 2026, it is heartbreaking that we're even having this conversation, that we even have one case. And, you know, the statistics are there, right? We know it. Sexual assault is happening every 73 seconds. And that is a massive health crisis. So for anybody who is afraid of reaching out, you're not alone. This is happening way, way, way too often. One time is too often, but every 73 seconds, that is a massive health crisis. You are not alone. And this public health crisis requires that we all play a role in supporting, in advocating, in educating. And if we can educate to eradicate, for perhaps fear can be reversed and eventually released forever.
Well said, Allie. So part of that is we are just so excited to partner with you on our next big journey, which is our own book called SOS Stories of Strength. And through that, again, it's the same concept of writing a letter to a younger version of yourself. And this will help our survivors know that whatever trauma that they're going through, there is something down the road. There is hope. There is that light at the end of the tunnel. And this partnership with you will allow us to tell that story and not in our words, but in their words and our words as well. And another thing that this does is a great way to help keep our services at no cost to our survivors. And all the proceeds from SOS Stories of Strength will go directly to our services that are provided.
Yep. I'm super excited. I'm very excited to work with Pathways to Healing on this book. Like I said, I truly believe that knowing you're not alone is life-changing, and especially with such a difficult time when you're dealing with sexual assault. It's unthinkable. And so having a resource like a book that shares other people's process, other people's trauma, and moving from victim to survivor, I'm really excited to help create impact, help create support, and eventually help heal through the work that this book will do. So I say, you know, I know that we're saying partner, but I do believe that you guys are the superstars here, and the work that you're doing is really phenomenal. And I'm thankful to know that organizations like Pathways to Healing are out there saying we're going to continue pushing, continue supporting, continue educating, and continue advocating.
Yes, absolutely. And so we have opened up our submissions, and we have a good handful, but would like to receive at least 50 stories by the end of July. I think we are extending that to Monday, July the 31st for that. And all of our letters are anonymous. And Allie, kind of walk us through, because it's very similar to how these letters are being submitted.
Yeah. So basically, anybody who would like to share your story, first of all, know that it is anonymous. You will not be referenced in the book. Your name will not be referenced. It is a story to your younger self, right? And in this particular case, it should be no more than 500 words. It will include what you wish you were able to sort of foresee back then, right? So knowing that this devastation has happened to you, you could consider starting your story with something like, when you are 23 years old, something unthinkable will happen. It will devastate. It will feel like it is going to destroy you, and fear and shame will start to consume you. Eventually, even that overwhelmed feeling may have such a deep hold that you will consider unthinkable things, and you'll know that you need help, but you won't know where to go. And then enter whatever kind of click happens in your life, whether it's an organization like Pathways to Healing steps in, whether you find support somewhere else, whatever that moment is that helps to move you from victim to survivor and ultimately thriver. That I think is what we want and what we hope as we think about this book coming out and being in the hands of supporters, of victims, of people who need to be educated. So yes, make sure to get your stories in by the 31st. Also, I know that if you are having trouble getting started or you want more information, you absolutely can go back to the Pathways to Healing website, connect, but not to worry. Your name will be anonymous. Your story will serve as a tool to help others, but will not reflect back on you specifically. And then the last thing, which is part of sort of like an admin thing, is Pathways to Healing absolutely has to have your legal release saying that they can use your letter and it will be anonymous. So if you're going through the release portion, again, if you have questions, which makes sense, you might feel free to connect with Pathways to Healing, and they will make sure to answer any of those questions.
Thank you, Allie. Yes, pathwaystohealing.com is our website. We're also posting all this on our social media sites. So feel free again to connect directly to us. I still love my Letters to Lilly book. I keep it on my desk. And when I need some inspiration, when I need just come on, Kimberly, let's get up and go, I'll just open it and read a story, and I continue to be inspired. So Allie, thank you so much for having this conversation with us and rescheduling this after your own journey. And so we look forward to, again, continuing to work with you this next edition of Letters to Lilly, but is now our SOS Stories of Survival, or Stories of Strength.
Yes, thank you. And thank you for bearing with me through this unfortunate part of the journey with my eye. Hopefully next time I see you, it will be without this added fashion accessory. But I will say that I know your Pathways to Healing book is going to have an impact, just like the work that you do every day has an impact. So I hope that people realize how intense the work is that you do, and your team does amazing things every single day. So I know that the world is already better off because of the care that your team shows in every way. And I think that this book is only going to add to that. So I personally hope that with education and healing, we'll one day live in a world where organizations like Pathways to Healing are no longer needed. But until then, I think we all do need to continue to support your work through our time, donations, conversations, our letters, and to remind everyone we're still all in this life together. So let's be better together. We can.
Absolutely. Well said. Allie, thank you again. Thank you for everybody who has joined us and listened in. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and we will be in touch and talk soon.
I look forward to it. Thank you.
Bye-bye.